I don't know if anyone's called us that yet.
No, I mean, I didn't know what to expect. I know usually he would agree what name we're going to be assigned, but that one came out of left field.
It's either
Well,
Godpock or Pop Speed.
Godpock, come on.
Yeah.
Godpock is, I mean, I get called that all the time, so maybe that's not fair.
Is that true? Well, listen.
Not at all.
Listen, Godpock. It's been a really rough day for some of these teams. I know you and I have been quite disappointed with a few of them.
Wow, getting straight to it.
I just figured, why play games? You know what I mean?
Let's not be about the bush.
Yeah, there's just a couple teams that obviously, I mean, Orion is the big one, Monkey Business. Supremacy also really surprised me, if I'm being completely honest. I thought that they would come out a lot stronger, and well, they didn't. I'm just gonna say it.
Yeah, I mean, I was actually looking at them to make moves on Miramar because, I mean, previously they got like 20 points total on a wrangle, and I'm talking about obviously the round of 16, and then 70 odd points or something on Miramar, like a crazy difference. But I mean, they've just lagged behind, and to go through all 6 games of Miramar back to back and not really make moves was a bit of a surprise because, I mean, I remember the guys being pretty shocked about some of the late game finishes that were getting on a wrangle the first time around, because obviously that was a surprise considering the previous performance.
Yeah, well, I also look at the roster when you see like Honey. I'm gonna call him. I'm gonna be honest. There's a name in there that I can't pronounce. There's Rektar, Patel, Gakulti. I'm so sorry. I'm butchering that.
That was actually pretty good, yeah.
It's probably bad, but that's a relatively unknown roster to me, obviously. But I really enjoyed what I saw from them, and it's not coming together. It's not coming together here at all for them. Obviously, Orion is another very big talking point as a team that Clover had picked, to be one of her best. They were also on my radar, and they're just, I don't know, they're a non-factor.
No, and again, it's. I always find it more difficult to kind of say, obviously, where teams are fundamentally going wrong, as opposed to, it's very easy to say, oh well, that move they made in Circle 3, and
or the way
the way they play split and and center up on Circle 4, things like that. But with Orion, it just comes down to team fights. Like, yeah, they've not looked in sync at all. I don't know if that's an IGO issue or somebody not really kind of taking the reins and calling the shots kind of in the moment when a team fight's kicking off. Because I mean, that's something that comes with time. Like passive teams are the ones that usually leave out in competitions like this, because if you're not going to practice your team fighting, like, things are falling apart before you get to the end game.
That's the thing that makes me curious, though. I wonder if they did even practice team fighting. Maybe they were actually having some good scrims as far as getting into fights, but it's just everything is just falling apart. And it's not that I want to beat a dead horse here. It's just, I'm an Orion fan. I really wanted to see them do well, but at the very least they can still finish strong. They have 3 games left. It's not over. I don't want to talk about it like it's over, but it's just not looking good. On the other side of things, I mean, we're looking at Team Clueless. We have Gravity. Even Elusive, who's the team that Poor and I were pretty critical on yesterday. They're killing it.
Yeah, it's good to see that top 4. I will say that much, because these are teams that a lot of eyes have been on. Obviously, there's been lots of talk about the Elusive roster changes. Obviously, Liberate with the return of Baha and Hello Senpai. That was a big disappointment in PCS, but it's good to see that a couple of times they're getting themselves to late game situations and they don't look shy. And that's the thing with a team like that. You'd expect them to be kind of oozing confidence just due to that experience. But again, it can always be a really nice reset for some of these teams that do struggle to obviously make it through the group stages in PCS to come back here and say, let's get a couple of those confidence boosters. Let's frag out a few games, have a couple of games where we're playing on foot from Circle 2 and we're just sweeping the edge.
Yep. It's one of my biggest things when I talk about teams, coming down to this level, is as long as they're working on the things that brought them here and fixing mistakes and improving, then it's fine. I mean, sure, it's not ideal to come down to challengers, but at the very least, if you're fixing mistakes or dominating the lobby, you have that confidence going forward, moving into whatever's next. We'll have to see. I don't know. But so far, Gravity, Team Clueless, Elusive, and Liberate, as you said, I mean, they've been doing really well. Liberate, at the very least, is getting very active on the edge again, which is something that we kind of expected to see, especially coming off of PCS2 to PCS3. We didn't quite see that, but we're starting to see them kind of get back into form. And Keck W is also another team that I think has really done well as far as positioning themselves with frags specifically. These guys are killing it.
Yeah, it's good to see a team kind of adopt that play style because, again,
especially in these lobbies, you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. These are the ones that there is a bit more of a, I guess, a random factor, and that probably is down to, you know, experience on some teams, in whether it be an IGL sense or just an all-round team experience at this level, where, you know, teams are they're not going to expect to get punished for certain things. So there can be that kind of random factor where, you know, you're getting crash circle 1, like on your loot spot, like a team's sending it at 4 minutes and you get caught off guard like that. So it is good to see some teams kind of adapt to that, play kind of a frag heavy play style, because I mean, ultimately some of these games, you know, you can win by just fragging out, like creating a lot of mid-game presence and pressuring a lot of teams away from, you know, those priority compounds, and it can garner you a lot of space.
I mean, it's hard to mention fragging out and just raw points and not mention SDK in the last you know, grand finals. Although they didn't win, they were pretty behind, but they started to make up a lot of that ground on frags alone. I mean, I think it was towards the end of the tournament that they finally got their first chicken dinner, which I think you said they were due. So frag heavy teams, even without the dinners, can absolutely put in the work, and you know, that's kind of what we're seeing from some of these guys.
I was just about to mention this. I'm so glad we've come here. I just glanced over to the map. I was
like,
a lot of teams look to center up already, which is an expectation with this circle. Lots of teams coming down towards Lumberyard, north side of Milta, but Monkey Business actually set up ahead of Pros Don't Snake, and it doesn't look like Pros Don't Snake have got a beat on what's waiting for them. We don't often see bridge camps, but a team like Monkey Business, you know, I mean, I like it. Switch it up a bit, play for some early kill points, give yourself a little cushion. And, you know, ease your side of the circle.
Well, on top of that, we may see a bridge camp here that, like, very light, someone passing through, but this is an actual setup on the bridge camp, which is right. We haven't seen in so long. Sociopath gonna take shots. Oh, and he's down.
Did get popped, yeah.
Yep. And now they know that there's possibly a team camping this bridge.
Something's up.
Yeah. And Pros Don't Snake, I mean, this is a team that, to be fair, is middling, and they're doing okay, but I still think this team is way too passive. Scassa is going to get just absolutely cracked, and this is already a bad situation for PDS.
Is indeed, yeah. Lister trades one back, Kite will fall, but it's going to be a much safer res for Monkey Business to go for it. Dirty's in way off to the south, actually round on Novo. I mean, just on the out of view on the minimap, we do actually have Virtue Wrap in the south side of Sosnovka as well, but we have to keep an eye on that in the kill feeder for the time being. This is over, much more centered up. Obviously, we're just away from Milta Power here. You can see Elusive and No Cap getting into it. Elusive's still in a little bit of a split, and this is one of those situations I was potentially talking about. Plube actually going to throw a gas can to the bottom of the stairs, going to pop that, create himself a little bit of an opportunity to hop out the window. Sneak Attack's actually going to open him up from the flat top, though. Might actually go down. He actually survives with 12 HP.
I really like the play with the gas can. Jumping out, however, was very sketchy. I mean, the fact that he survived that, Sneak Attack almost got him down. But yeah, these two teams are definitely intertwined here. And this is exactly what happens, is what you were talking about with these Milta Power circles. Everyone centers up.
Yeah, it is. Again, coming to these circles late is just not an option. It really isn't. I mean,
well, it is. You're just not going to...
I mean, you can come late, but you have to be ready to literally fight as you pull up. You have to clear your edge. You have to move in with the circle. And, you know, the later it gets, the less space you have to do that, because there's always going to be another couple of teams that are playing a similar plan. I mean, looking off to the north side of the map right now, we have 3 teams that are playing kind of mansion in the south. Now, those are the teams that they're going to settle. They're not going to get to center at this point. They know that they're not going to get anything kind of prior in terms of compounds or positioning. So now I'm going to expect this. If this centers up, it creates that edge that lies over prison and shelter. All these teams get compacted in next to each other. So you've got to be ready to clear that. And
that's exactly what happens, as you explained. You have your main clump in Milta Power, and then you have your secondary clump, which is just around that prison area. Oh, Deadeye going in, trapped in the corner. He's actually knocked. And that's both down.
Yeah, Reknar going to find first with the nade, and the second with the AK. And San Diego Rarity, I'm not sure why Acro is choosing to pull up on this. You need to get away from there, buddy. He's actually going to get popped out as well. The guy whose name we can't say, Geico, going to find that one. I'm not sure what San Diego Rarity are doing right now. This is a team that's right on the cusp. It would be terrible for them to go out 16th place on the first Erangel game of the day, but it's just going to have to hop on a bike and send it away.
I mean, that play by Acro was just, I mean, it just looked like he was confused. He didn't know what to do. I don't know, but
you don't need a call in that situation. If your two teammates send into a flat top, like,
and
you don't
both
need...
of them go down.
That's just odd there. Actually, looks like Orion are pulling up onto the same, so maybe they're looking to try and third party this. I can already see one player downed. Looks like number one Potato is trying to play anchor from a high ground position. Not sure what Hello Senpai is doing. He teleported. He is actually with his team. He was in ruins temporarily. Circle did pull up quite far up to the northwest side, so that cut out a lot of the water, and does cut out a lot of those compounds down Monkey Road as well.
And here comes Orion pushing the same flat top, I should say, that Supremacy held away from San Diego Rarity. And this is that's actually a really nice nade.
What? That was the longest stun ever. What?
Yeah, I didn't even think that was ball. I thought it would. I thought it was a nade because it kept going. You know, they usually stop, but I mean, Orion has a really interesting setup on this. They actually have a really good setup to hold flat top itself, but not the members Supremacy coming in from behind.
Oh no!
But
yeah, I mean, this situation when you commit to third party like that, I don't like them pulling out. Number one Potato still had a really good high ground position there. Maybe just not fancying the push onto the flat top. I don't know. I liked it. The fact that they were looking to get aggressive, come down and third party that fight was really good stuff from them. I've seen a couple of teams now reposition over towards Milta Godspeed. Obviously, Gravity coming into the mix now. Innate, our last man standing for San Diego Rarity, as we know, he's going to have to get quiet and wait this one out. But we've got 4 teams throwing it into Milta right now. In my opinion, the worst place for an end game to be is Milta.
Like,
I absolutely hate it. Either that or Yasnaya.
It depends on what part of Yasnaya. Let's be honest. Like if it's apartments, the absolute worst. I cannot stand apartments.
Station side slightly better.
It's okay. It's really bad here, especially when that 3-story with the flat roof is in, because that one building that you see the KEKW is in there pretty much controls most of Milta when it's in, and it's so difficult to get around it. If you're the team in there, it's great, you know, especially if you have a split that KEKW is going with the barn and the 3-story there, but 2.5-story, but you get my drift.
It's a lot to hold on to at this stage of the game, though. They're going to have teams peppering shots at them for the next 10 minutes. If this is still in the circle, it's a lot of pressure to hold off. Plus, you know, when they're peaking Milta, there's 400 windows that can see them, whereas that's one building. There's 5 windows to peek out of. So it's very, very difficult to really get any information or try and pressure any teams. There's so many angles to worry about.
Yeah, and you're seeing that right now. I mean, Gravity is just harassing KEKW, which is okay for KEKW in the sense that they're not necessarily in threat of being pushed right this second. But if Gravity starts landing a lot of damage and they can see that they're taking off some helmets, there's definitely a push and go in. But retaliating on D-Rich there. Nice shots. Going to get the headshot, knock him down. They're going to be able to get that up as we see the second shift. And right on Milta.
Yeah.
I don't miss playing these.
No, I don't. Obviously, we know this one, we have to take into account the water at this point. So expecting it to kind of obviously center up around Supremacy's compound, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
There is the option for some variance in that, but expect this one to kind of Milta in the southern hemisphere of Circle 4, if you like. Lots of teams do still need to make some moves. I can see Ascendants now making moves on the northwest side. Cozy actually coming down past Milta Power right now. We've got No Cap and Elusive still out that way. But over here now, Virtue finally made it across the bridge, and Liberate, who kind of made a slow play in through towards Farm, but Play for Fun are actually sending some shots over their way. Baja's actually going to get control of the lodge here. Virtue have just pulled up on the other side of this.
Yeah, Virtue came across late. Obviously, they were behind multiple teams. Nice shots. Tanaka's going to find Guab. And it's just Baja now.
He's actually going to get flushed out. And Ice Tech just coming down the road now. You can see him just popped into the minimap. He's going to pull up, maybe try and get some pressure in here. But This is a lot to hold off for Baja. Virtue is still 4 strong. We know that they came late off Sosnovka, so they've had no pressure to this point. Baja going to send some utility over that way. Pop a first aid kit.
Push it, Baja.
Doesn't look, yeah. I mean, it doesn't look like Virtue are that interested in pushing either. So
no.
You give a player like Baja the opportunity, he will look for an angle and get a few knocks.
To be fair, these double balk buildings are nightmares to push. So I do understand the hesitation. I also am not sure if they know how many of Liberate are in there. But either way, Virtue was the team that came off of the bottom of Military Island. They were actually waiting for that Monkey Business Pros and Snake little camp there. And they actually have a decent position as Vec...
Oh. I don't know why he slowed down in front of the building. Yeah, so
maybe he was just
okay.
Checking to see if someone was home. I mean, people do scout on bikes all the time. They'll slow down, see if anyone's in there shooting at them. Unfortunately for Vexel, most of those were headshots, and he went down immediately.
Yeah, I mean, Cozy could have been on that hilltop, though, like looking towards the buildings. Yeah, I mean, take a peek first. Like, he was riding within, like, 25 meters of the front door. Cozy looked like if they get lodged here, it's going to be an absolute godsend, to be honest with you, because this is a power position to get through, and depending on this shift, it could give them a nice edge to kind of fight their way into Milta. It looks like they're driving past it, but meanwhile, Icetech managed to get into a pretty deadly position here. He's actually kind of backfilled Virtue. He's come back round to the side that Virtue crashed on. You can see Virtue pretty much hyper tunneled onto Baja Waka.
It's a big flank.
The lodge. This is really nice. If Baja can get just like a one piece of information that one's up close, it's going to give a fantastic opportunity for Icetech. I think he's just relayed it there because they vaulted into the ground floor of lodge.
And he's going to be able to see at least one member here on the outside, on the right.
Ooh. I think that Virtue member actually heard Icetech.
No, maybe he didn't. Baja is going to get the opening knock. He needs help from Icetech. Icetech has to go. There's no more hesitation. That's going to be another one. 2 down. 2 on 2 for Liberate as they take out Super. And Batty Lol is knocked. And Baja actually made it out. Really nice play from him. As you said, you never want to give Baja any time to think or plan any sort of play. But
oh no.
Monkey business.
Yeah, the third party again. Baja just couldn't break line of sight there. It's too much to worry about for one man trying to fight off the 3-man of Virtue. Batty does get back to his feet. Icetech now in a position where he's probably just going to try and convert 1 or 2 more kill points out of this. I mean, he might potentially could go for the res if he can hold the front door. But again, there's 2 windows upstairs he's got to worry about. And all they need to do is hold until...
He needs the ball right now. He has the opportunity. He can see the windows. He can see he's clear. I mean, if he wants to go for this, he can go to the wall. Nice!
That's a nice knock. And Badilo actually flushed out Baja as well. So... now leaves Icetech in a 1v2 situation. That molly's perfect as well. It's going to do a lot of damage, but Tanaka won't fall off that. Badilol trying to cook some nades. I think that one's going to be very well cooked. Oh, it didn't actually... yeah, he actually overcooked it, but he does still come out on top. AK versus Beryl should win that one every day of the week.
I mean, I'm pretty sure it was Icetech that I saw have a really nice 3x AK spray earlier, so he definitely enjoys that weapon. I still love the AK, although obviously there's a better option out there, but I've always been a lover of the AK. I mean, it just does a lot of damage, and Icetech uses it well. Unfortunately, Liberate's going to go out as we now move on to Ascendancy Sports. It looks like Raven has fallen, but they still have a nice little... What did you guys call this anything? We didn't call this anything, but often I feel like Envy always played here.
I thought, well, that's going way back.
Yeah, it's
way back.
It is way back, but
like Pat Cap's era Envy, right?
Yeah, that's yeah. Well, yeah.
Well, they always used to drop like Envy. Snake and Farm, right?
That's true. Oh, that's right. There was a period where they actually didn't really know where they were going. It was kind of all over the place, and then they settled on Farm and Snake.
I'm just looking now. Obviously, similar situation over in Milta. No real opportunity for anyone to move out there. Again, it did pretty much center up on Supremacy. Did pull kind of as far north as it possibly could. So Orion actually, off the back of that, the only ones really playing the hard north edge here. So they're in a really good position to spread out. But right now, again, I guess maybe that is some air.
That time. Is hold. I was about to say he landed on the roof. You actually can't get on that roof. That's huge. That is actually huge, and I think he can even get to the other roof as well. Although no,
come on, no, okay. You make an alpha play like that, and then you jump straight off the roof. No, don't like it.
If we could actually just never spectate Evasion again, that would be just kidding. That was sick though. I mean, the bike is perfectly parked up there though.
If the circle comes back this way,
he's gonna be so upset.
Yeah. Because that's like a Zampa position.
Oh,
like to just be on a random rooftop. Oh my god, the circle actually just hard shifted to the north, cutting all of Milta out now. We've got what, 20 players, 25 players,
5, 6, 7 teams in Milta, I think.
Okay. So I straight away need to go towards L picks. We need to be looking at Supremacy and No Cap. Those teams are in the positions to kind of clean up. I mean, what's left of Milta? If these guys have still got vehicles to hold on to, which we know Evasion hasn't. That's actually a perfect
that's a disgusting molly. He's down. Yeah,
he's down. Yeah. Okay, Batty.
Okay, making up for Evasion is roof jump there.
But the problem now comes, Godspeed, like anybody without a vehicle here, they can't foot push up that hill. They simply can't do that.
There's no way. There's no way. Not with Supremacy looking. You have Team Clueless as well off to the east there. I think Elusive. The foot pushing this is suicide. The only realistic wrap you have is either if you're Monkey Business, you basically go to the west, and if you're anyone else, you just you just try to wrap that way.
I mean, if you're anybody else, to be honest with you, you take a team fight. Like, Virtue are going to get out of here. They're going to head towards the east, but Elusive, Clueless, and No Cap are all over this side. I don't expect them to really get a decent position in the circle. You can see one member of Virtue in the car there. Can't tell exactly. It's actually Baddie down to 50 HP. They're sending it towards No Cap. Shaq here. This is bold. The split's actually perfect for No Cap as well. Evasion going to fall first off. Tanaka falls second. Actually, Baddie Low going to get the first aid kit off, but down to 25. He's actually going to get the flush as well. Yeah. So a little bit sloppy here because Plube's going to fall from the third party from Keck W Keys as well.
And Battleground should be able to make it into the shack here, but
I mean, the third party saved him.
Yeah, it did. No, it did. But he still has to move up the hill. And as you said, it's going to be very difficult. We now move to Monkey Business fighting for the flat top here that we see PDS. And I think there was even a solo in there somewhere. Sneak attack.
I mean, this is chaos again. This is what the kind of alternative decision that you have to make is to just go for a push onto a building, you try and get some kills. Yeah. Supremacy, obviously, third party from the top. Retaliative going to get Tetra down. That's just one building over, but there's still 3 teams to worry about here inside Milton. You can see the kill feed is not stopping right now.
There's so many different teams in this flat top. Retaliative going to get another kill, Pac, but they still have to get out. I mean, Keck W Warriors are none of these teams are in, so it's going to be running and gunning, trying to get a kill or two, while also simultaneously getting picked off by Ascendants. I mean, this is ridiculous.
Oh, did they spot him? I think they did spot him. Yeah, Retaliative did spot him. So 2Mass actually right in front of Big Penguin here. Is he going to get? He's not going to get it off. There was one more tick, and now Keck W Keys, they have the edge. Simply Matt actually has made it to kind of a downhill position, but 2Mass and Retaliative did hold off here to try and clean up some of these kill points. I like it. You know, damage control, if they feel as if they're going to go out, they did put some points on the board before doing so, but they've actually got themselves a top 8 position now. And Simply Matt getting onto the hillside at least gives them an option to fight forwards here.
Yep, it does. And on top of that, ELPX has a nice split there that they can easily consolidate into that Wizard Tower. Orion actually has a beautiful wrap to the north here if they want to take it. They could really take control of this circle. As it's only just one team ahead, and coming off the high ground, as you know, in this circle is so beneficial. But we'll see what route they want to take. It looks like they're going to take shots over here at Team Clueless.
This is the point of the game, though. We need to see Orion convert something. Nice shots from number 1 Potato there. NHS will fall on the backside of the UAZ. Baddie will send it in a Dacia, but this is what I was saying. Now is the time I want to see Orion convert this position to some points, not just bank on these placement points. I mean, they're potentially in a game-winning spot if they can clear this up.
Oh, 100%. I think they're actually in these spot because they can choose which way they want to wrap, what team fight they want to take. They're obviously still in the circle. They've chosen to take out Clueless first, get those points, which is exactly what you want to see them do. We'll see if they can convert anything after that, though. And what is their play? Are they indeed going to try to take a fight to the north, or are they just going to kind of stay put and hang out on the edge where they're in? I mean, I think the decision to make to win the game is very obvious, but it's just the onus is on Orion to make that decision. And Keck W Warriors, Pac, I'm surprised they're still alive.
Yeah, I mean, if they deal with Giroux here, they have a route up the hill.
Yeah.
Like I said, it was huge that simply Matt was able to get across when he did. Tumas and Retaliative, I mean, surprisingly enough, have actually managed to join him. They're going to find Giroux over on the east side. So down to 5 teams now. Kick W Killers up to... Sorry, Kick W Killers. I keep calling them the Killers. I don't know why, but up to 6 kills now. Up to 6 kills now. Looks like they're going to try and wrap back on and potentially try and take the fight with Supremacy here. And this flat top is not the easiest to hold. As soon as you let somebody get this close, it's very, very difficult.
Yeah, I mean, you're essentially just waiting for the push at that point. There's nothing, you can't go outside, you can't really peek the windows, you're completely surrounded. But Keck W is still, the way that they played this, obviously they took that really early flat top down in Milta. It helped them out. They recognized what they needed to do as far as rotating up early.
Oh my God, that's a huge flash. Oh, he's so unlucky not to get that.
Another flash coming in.
He's actually so unlucky not to get that knock. Tumas and Retaliative here now to help him out. He's going to bounce another flash in. Nobody peeking off that one, though. And just more utility keeping Supremacy at bay in the ground floor of the flat top here.
Nice.
Tumas actually going to hop in. I love this. This is huge. Absolutely huge. They're taking it apart. 2-4 from Supremacy. Keck W coming on the inside, but only actually going to find 2 knocks and 1 flush on the staircase here. 2 members of Supremacy still up. There you go. They do manage to hold it down. Fantastic effort from Keck W, though.
Yeah.
Supremacy hold the line, wait out all of that utility, and they only lose 1 member for it. I thought as soon as he got that vault into the office,
I thought
downstairs, dude, I thought he was going to swing on, get both of those knocks on the ground floor. All the other guys had to worry about was the staircase, but really, really well played from Supremacy there to hold on.
Yeah, that was well played from both teams, to be completely honest.
Here we go.
And this is what this is what we want. This is what we want, Puck.
Yep, and I mean, all the time that fight was going on, Orion have flexed out now to try and take this fight with Ascendance. They've got to be careful. Ripper's actually on a deep flank against the blue. He's going to find I Love Gwen Stacy, but Greta can't find that knock. Lamborghini going to trade 1 back, but 2-4 for Orion now.
Yep, another knock coming in, and it's just Ripper. Ripper is trying to back off, and although there was some bloodshed, Orion is definitely going to make it out of this one. As long as they just...
Ripper's super lit. They should be able to get this. There we go. Orion going to put some more kill points on the board, up to 4 now, and find themselves...
Look at ELPX, though.
A top 3 position. ELPX, they are charging this down.
Beautiful.
Milo going to come on, get 1 knock and a flush. Ripper's going to get the bleed out credit. Number 1 Tater now the last man standing for Orion. Unfortunately here, ELPX coming up and clean that one up, so they will fall in 3rd place, but a much better game from Orion this time around. Yeah. Supremacy have flexed out. Femme Fatale actually fell to the blue. Not entirely sure what happened there because nobody was shooting them at the time, but now they find themselves in a 2v4 situation.
It does happen indeed. Maybe he took a little step there on the blue side, but I mean, this is really just ELPX's game to lose at this point. If Supremacy can get a really nice split, somehow they can manage to split ELPX, get a knock or 2, they have a chance. But the way that ELPX is just positioned, the circle control that they have, and I'm pretty sure the idea of where they think Supremacy is going to be very difficult.
I was just about to say, if this one doesn't pull to the north, it's actually creating more of an opportunity for Supremacy here, because you can see Tudo's position is actually kind of exposed if they keep sweeping west here, but they've got to be careful. Don't want to see them give up a knock before the circle pop.
Caesar is the one that's actually creating the space for ELPX to make sure that what you were explaining doesn't happen as he goes forward.
Exactly.
It's really nice by Caesar. He's got to be careful. As you said, he can definitely get knocked, which would not be great. However, the way that he's taken his time, this is beautiful.
Now, just bait out a few shots, wait for some audio cues. He's going to be able to get a nice open uphill angle here onto the backside of Supremacy. I don't think they're expecting it at all. I'm looking at the map. Both of their pointers are facing right towards that. Nade was actually perfect. They're going to do 79 damage. You have to fall back here. And all this time, this information getting relayed. Caesar can peek up whenever he wants. Oh, my God. How did that one not knock him?
Caesar's about to get the 2 easiest kills of his career here.
Okay.
He's one.
He's staring at them.
I think he knows where Get Colt is, but yeah, I think he was just waiting maybe for a nade. But just like that, it's just Honey in a smoke, and they're gonna firing squad it. What if he wins this puck? That'd be insane.
I mean, I want to see it, but it's not going to happen. Elpic's going to close that one out. 7 kills, really, really good awareness there of how much time they had to push up in third party that fight with Orion and Ascendance. And again, you know, that really just came down to that taking a little bit too long for Orion to clean up. I know Ripper was on a deadly flank from the edge of the blue there, and that kind of created that weird variable mid-team fight. So that's maybe what drew it out a bit longer than it needed to be. But really, really good awareness from Elpix there. I mean, that was the play to make there. They took control of the high ground at that point. I mean, the game's wraps for me.
100%. And they even had that really nice little 2-2 split that they held on with the Wizard Tower. And
late into the game.
Yeah, late into the game. And they were able to consolidate, and they made the right plays to move forward. Ryan definitely had a much better game this time around. And I'm honestly really impressed with KEKW Warriors as well. I mean, the way that they played that and the hand that they were dealt once that circle shifted off, I mean, they were still fighting for kills, Pac.
I mean, you got to be kind of tilted when you get the God building in Milton. You're like, oh yeah, circle's coming here. Those back-to-back north shifts, like the first one put their building out, like it literally put it out of the circle. Already. So you got to be tilted seeing that.
Yeah, very early on they knew what was going on. Well, that's going to be it for us, Pac. First game of Wrangle, 2 more left to go. Let's go ahead and head back to the desk, see what the guys have to say.
Big win there. Hey, what's up, Matt? Come on over. How's it going, bud?
Oh, hi. Which side do I?
That's not social distance. Pick a side.
Yeah, I know. I've got a social distance, so I guess I just chill here. This is my new home.
All right. So let's talk about. Sorry, watching Matt play with it was too good. Great game, ending with a firing surround of the smoke. Supremacy put up their best shot, but ELPX really just had the numbers and the position. There wasn't much they could do. Match them.
I mean, Supremacy, though, shout out to them making it into the later stages. We were just talking about some of the teams that were kind of struggling on the right side. Walked away with a ton of kills as well, but Elpix really showed a lot of strategy moving into that last section. They sent Caesar off onto a side point just to make sure that they can keep it contained, and then just had the other 3 just storm down on them. I mean, the end game was great, but before that, it just felt like it was a constant Milta and Lumberyard party with circle shifts just messing everybody's life up.
Yep. Yeah. I thought you were gonna go deeper on it than that.
Oh no!
I was trying to let somebody else talk. I mean, if you
I was talking about Cameron. Cameron just gave you a yup. I thought he had a little.
We can. It was a split first phase. Obviously, that makes even your initial early game plans a little complicated. And by the time that we knew it was going to go Milta, north of Milta area, the teams that there were a couple of teams on top of that hill that it ended on. But everyone else was like either in Milta or had to take a number of key steps in order to get into Milta, which is like the only playable area once you hit around like phase 5 or so.
There was a lot of difficult steps for teams to take, and we'll talk about those and break them down as we look back at what happened in that match. It's highlight time. And
highlights. I did it.
You did it. Thank you. I felt so alone for just a
I know. I could sense it in your voice. You were like, why? Why is everybody abandoning me? Well, Pro-Stone Snake, they need to abandon the strategy of going across the road, and this compound, man, was just death incarnate for teams that's trying to make their approach.
Yeah, that's a rough one to push here, but just rotations all around Milta can be quite difficult because of dead zones like that one that we just saw a team get punched on their own rotation here. This fight, oh man, this whole engagement took quite a while. At the end, Icek had a couple of good moments, but at this point you can tell that he is down by himself. Not much to do at that point.
But I love that. Choosing to be aggressive whenever you're outnumbered, trying to go for the kills. That's the type of play you want to see coming out from Liberate. This is not the type of play you really want to see going down around this. There's a couple of catastrophes that popped off. I love the back approach that you saw KEKW try to pull off over here. Tomas came in through the window, got a beautiful shots to set this one up, but it kind of comes apart there towards the end of it. You can see the smoke play coming around. Supremacy picked up a lot of kills inside this round, but Elpix just had way too many numbers. I love the idea of stepping out of the smoke, though, trying to see if maybe you can get something out of it.
Also, a couple interesting things we saw in there. Ice Tech, 2 great kills with a 3x AK spray that looked like it was a laser beam, which I know for a fact is not super easy. And the counter peek on KEKW when they tried to go up the stairs. That's something I think we missed mechanically, is he went up and he immediately swung to the right to sort of clear the stairwell, and his opponent smartly stepped across the line, because it's a lot harder to pull your mouse back the other way. So he counter peeked him basically and got that double, which was really, really nice. And ultimately, KEKW fell apart inside the garage.
Well, if you're talking about Hyuni on the stairs getting that double kill, Supremacy were playing that 2-2-2 on the two on the top floor, 2 on the bottom floor, which is one of the standard holds that you see on a building like that. And because with the circle pressure on KEKW, they were forced to go into the bottom floor. I guess they didn't have the nades to try and get a frag grenade into the top floor, or maybe even a Molotov. And they also, because of the circle, didn't have an angle to have someone firing in. It's from the low ground either way, so it would be difficult, even if they did have the spacing to play with. But that's forced them all to go into the bottom floor. And even if Hyuni didn't expect the double push when it happened, the 2 teammates on the bottom floor were calling out that they were dealing damage, that a couple of them were getting knocked. And so he was just coming down to try and find a flank angle onto it. But you're right, though. It was the overstep that sort of caught those 2 players off guard.
Well, KEKW also spent a lot of time outside. Like, they threw flashbangs, step back out. Dumas making the play on the window is great, but it was just the longer you have to set up defense, the higher likelihood is that you're going to win your defense.
Well, the reality is neither of those teams wanted that fight, right? That was a situation where no matter who came out on top, it was going to set you up not to be able to win the game. Like that was the reality, is it was going to cost far, far too much. Let's take a look at the leaderboard from that match. See exactly how the points fell out. ELPX does put a chicken up on the board with 17 points. Not too shabby. Supremacy gets 15. Those were the teams that I believe were an 11th and 12th or something in that ballpark going into this one, Cameron. So
12
good
and
news
14.
for them. Oh, geez. So this is big news for them.
Really big pickup. And if you just look at the kills overall, it's a lot more even of a distribution, because with the game being in Milta on the bottom half and then a few scattered teams on the hill just above it, those teams on the hill, you could argue had the most control, but they didn't have too many opportunities for kills. And so it was the Milta teams all fighting each other, spreading those kills about, until finally you see Supremacy able to pick up a fair bit and ELPX picking up some as well. But it's not going to be one of those, it wasn't one of those games that you would see 1 or 2 teams really take over and rack up 12, 15 or more kills.
Matchup kills and damage. Sharu still showing up, man.
Well, this is kind of the nature of the beast and what we were looking at with the Milta circle coming into here. Clueless felt like they saw Gravity went down very early, didn't get any kills inside of it, so saw a potential for an opportunity. And Shiru steps up big for his team. We saw them trying to harass back over towards the eastern sections, or I guess the southern section of Lumberyard, trying to make their way back up towards the safe zone. It's kind of where they met their fate. But it was a lot of these very awkward skirmishes. Like you mentioned it a second ago, Toffees, that whenever we were talking about the fight with Supremacy in their compound, there were so many fights that people just didn't want to take. Once we saw the shift away from Milta, it just got messy so fast. And kudos for these guys to manage to find the angles to just survive and get the kills that are necessary to get your team the points in that round.
Getting out of Milta is like growing up in a small town. It seems like it's an impossible task, but somebody will inevitably do it. Let's take a look at the overall leaderboard as Gravity gets 96 points. Team Clueless has closed the gap a bit, and they have 2 games to continue to do so. KEKW Kiers right behind them with 76. Orion's still stuck in last. However, I will give credit where credit is due. After a bit of a digital drive-by that I dropped on them earlier, they stepped up in this game, Cameron. They showed some signs of life. They made some good plays. They got to the late game.
They got to the late game by hanging out on the hill that the circle shifted towards twice. I was hoping to see a lot more out of them once they hit the late game, but that engagement with Ascendance was still, you could definitely see the threads sort of hanging out and being a little confusing in that engagement, and also really good timing on ELPX to push up on that moment, but they just got absolutely just destroyed with what little they had left after the Ascendance engagement.
It just says a lot about LPX in that situation to be aware of what's happening and to know to capitalize right then, because that felt like winning that fight and just mopping up the last bits of Orion really secured their late game.
Well, I mean, when you're fighting on a hilltop, that's what you do. You have to control your wedge, your little piece of land. LPX was able to get up the top of the hill. And then from there, you saw them send out flankers, do all kinds of stuff. Oh, what? I see why you said, oh. Talk to me about it, Matchroom.
Oh, pan kill. You need to be getting you some more kills, man. Shrews managed to step up on this one. Cut a path right past Zover and is now fighting you for that #1 kill spot.
Yeah, Team Clueless wasn't even in that top 4, I don't think, Cameron. But Sharu says, I don't care. I'm going to beat Pankill. I want $500.
Shuru's been climbing up, but I think they started the day with about a 5 kill at least gap there. I do want to also pay attention a little bit to Retaliative, because coming into this event, in my notes for the KEKW Kiers, I said that it was a hard carry kill-wise by this player for the team in the round of 16. And with the last 2 rounds remaining, if they can keep that up, and he specifically can keep that up if Pankill can, I guess, keep this recent performance up of, well, going out in 15 plays with 0 kill, and then Shuru slows down as well. We could see a player from Challengers come up and take that kill leader.
Though he still needs that pan kill. I stand by Poro earlier. You know, you don't name yourself M24 Master Shot if you're not going to use the M24